Her error was arriving with the intent to assault his character. Representative Ilhan Omar positioned herself at the testimony stand, notes clutched tight, poised to admonish House Speaker Mike Johnson regarding Christian nationalism, religious governance, democratic perils, and radicalism. She possessed her rehearsed arguments, her liberal coalition was standing by, and her press backers were set to broadcast the message. This was destined to be her spotlight, her internet-famous dismantling of the newly appointed Republican leader. She remained oblivious to the events that were about to unfold. Johnson was seated opposite her within the House Ethics Committee chamber during the open session, with C-SPAN filming and the nation observing. He appeared tranquil, displaying that Louisiana gentleman's demeanor, quiet and courteous, possessing the sort of Southern etiquette that lowers your guard right before ruining you. As a constitutional attorney who had pleaded cases in front of the Supreme Court, he never lost his composure or elevated his volume because he had no necessity to do so. He possessed something superior to loudness, for he held the truth, the proof, and the documented records. Omar concluded her initial offensive, the scripted comments concerning Christian nationalism, menacing diverse democracy, regarding spiritual radicalism in state affairs, and the hazards of theology-driven legislation. Assured and virtuous, convinced she had struck hard, Johnson grinned, yet not cruelly, but rather with a knowing expression, the look of a litigator ready to reveal proof the accused is unaware of. Representative Omar, I appreciate those comments, which were extremely intense and highly troubling. You are correct that we ought to be anxious regarding radicalism within Congress, concerning external sway, regarding allegiance to foreign nations above America, about accumulating family wealth via public service, and regarding deceit and treachery. You are entirely correct that we must be extremely concerned regarding such matters. He stopped briefly, allowing the silence to linger. Therefore, let us discuss your situation. He unsealed a binder, a heavy file with visible papers, fiscal logs, election submissions, and formal accounts, all open to the public and all incriminating. You challenged my fidelity to the United States. You insinuated that my religion renders me hazardous, and you hinted that I obey something besides the Constitution. These are intriguing charges, known as projection in the field of psychology, where you blame others for the very actions you commit personally. Thus, prior to addressing my alleged radicalism, let us inspect yours. Let us debate where your allegiance resides. Let us track your funds. Let us assess your controversies, and let us discover who truly menaces America. He stared straight at her, the Southern civility remaining, yet there was iron beneath it, a deadly firmness underneath. Assist me in understanding, Representative, exactly what sum of funds you disbursed to your spouse's firm from your election chest. Her fingers moved to her headscarf, an anxious motion and a tiny giveaway, but Johnson noticed it and stored the observation. That information is publicly available and was completely compliant, yet I inquired about the specific amount. Representative, what portion of your contributor's cash was transferred to your partner's business? She paused, which was a deadly error. Election advising is routine, but I am asking for the total, Representative. How much was met with quiet? For she was unable to voice it, unable to confess it verbally, since the figure was excessively large, too glaring, and too dishonest. Johnson articulated it on her behalf, stating it was a sum greater than what the majority of citizens will earn throughout their whole existence. That represents the magnitude of your spouse's firm and your household's gain derived from supporters who had faith in you, who thought you would utilize their funds for elections, for freedom, and for governance. Rather, you rendered your kin rich while those people suffered, while they made sacrifices, and while they donated cash they could barely spare. You brought affluence to yourself, which does not constitute public service, representative, but rather deceit. He allowed the statement to resonate, letting the nation take it in and permitting the fury to accumulate. There are 5 controversies, 5 stages, and 5 confirmations of a single reality, which is that you work for Somalia primarily, not the United States. It is Somalia perpetually, Somalia without fail, and never America. So let us commence. The chamber fell quiet in that specific manner, indicating everyone is aware they are on the verge of observing something momentous. Johnson displayed the initial paper, a Federal Election Commission dossier that was formal, indisputable, and open history. You accepted contributions from diligent citizens, some of whom provided what they could scarcely manage, such as $25, $50, or $100, which is substantial cash for households fighting to cover lease payments, purchase groceries, and maintain electricity. They had faith in your cause, relied on you, and assumed their funds would assist in voting in officials, aid political drives, and support liberty. He stopped speaking, gazed at her, and asked where those funds actually went. Representative. She attempted her rehearsed evasion, stating that election spending is meticulously recorded, yet he persisted in asking where it went. Her tone became guarded and rose in frequency as she claimed her team met all reporting mandates, to which he retorted it went to her spouse's business. That is the destination of the funds, so assist me in comprehending, Representative. Your contributors made sacrifices while their children required footwear. Their leases were overdue and their vehicles were failing. Yet they donated regardless, because they believed, because they trusted, and because they imagined you were unique. He retrieved additional papers, specifically election funding logs, showing disbursements detailed repeatedly, month succeeding month and year following year, all directed to a single location. You accepted that cash, that offering, and that faith, and you transferred it to your spouse, Tim Minot, and his advisory business, the E Street Group. For precisely what duties and what advice did you require that only your partner was capable of supplying? What special skills did he exclusively hold? And what outcomes did he produce that warranted compensating him with more than your contributors will earn in their whole existence? Her lips parted, but no speech followed. What was she able to utter when the files were open, the transfers were recorded, and the dishonesty was established? Let us discuss your contributors, Representative, actual humans who provided you with actual currency, laboring households in Minnesota, and settlers who arrived in the states lawfully, who obeyed every regulation, who trusted you stood for them, and who imagined you would battle on their behalf. His tone became quieter and more perilous. They labor at 2 positions or 3, doing whatever is necessary with both guardians toiling, children rarely viewing them, fatigued constantly, physiques failing and souls eroding, yet continuing to struggle, continuing to attempt, and continuing to trust that the nation compensates diligence. When they observe you, they assume she comprehends. She originated from zero. She will contend for us. She will utilize our gifts prudently, and she will voice our hardships. He gazed straight toward her. You double-cross them, for you accept their $25 or $50 and $100, funds they required and funds that signified something, and you disburse millions to your husband. Your relatives become wealthy, while their households remain destitute. You offer no sacrifice, while they offer everything. That does not qualify as representation, but rather as abuse. An individual in the audience spoke out, an elderly female with a Somali inflection and a weary tone. I contributed $80 to her across 2 elections, and being on a limited budget, that money was significant.
I forewent necessities to manage it because I had faith in her when she claimed she would battle for laboring households and for settlers like myself who followed the rules. I assumed my funds would assist, but they assisted her spouse and made her relatives affluent, while I continued to suffer. The female resumed her seat, while others whispered their concurrence, fury, and sense of treachery. Johnson proceeded, unyielding at this point. The Federal Election Commission conducted an inquiry, not Republicans or political foes, but the National Bureau that supervises election funding. They examined the disbursements to your partner's business, and do you know what they discovered? He displayed the dossier, an official FEC document detailing infractions. These were not accusations or suspicions, but verified and recorded breaches. You violated election finance statutes. You compensated your spouse in sums that breached the rules. You utilized campaign cash incorrectly, and you were compelled to reimburse the funds, pay a penalty, and confess to the misconduct. Her hands were trembling now, with a noticeable quiver. This was severe, this was recorded, and this was established. It was not a plot or a biased assault, but a federal infraction formally discovered and openly admitted. Assist me in comprehending, Representative, when you were signing those drafts to your partner's firm, when you were bringing wealth to your kin, and when you were using supporter cash for private gain, were you considering your contributors? She attempted to talk with a frail voice, claiming the services rendered were valid, but he interrupted to ask if she was considering the Somali grandmother who gave $80 she could not spare. He interrupted again to ask if she was considering the laboring households donating $50 rather than purchasing new footwear for their children. He interrupted once more to ask if she was considering them or her own bank balance. There was silence, a lengthy quiet of 10 or 15 seconds. She possessed no reply, no justification, and no clarification that did not appear dishonest. Johnson leaned in closer. You were not considering them. You were considering yourself, your relatives, your gain, and your assets. Their offering financed your ease, and their faith financed your treachery. While your veterans and your laboring households fought to exist, you disbursed millions to your spouse. There are distinct regulations for you, and a separate system for you, resulting in your gain and their abuse. He pivoted to the lens, addressing the nation. That constitutes the first-round election finance deceit established by the Federal Election Commission. Not merely alleged, but proven. Contributor funds went to the husband's firm, meaning their offering became your wealth. Let us track the currency, Representative, for it invariably reveals the reality. The second round concerns another deceit, another betrayal, and another offense involving the marriage, the sibling, and the migration system. You may have cheated while your families waited years to arrive lawfully. Distribute this remark asking if you contributed to her cause. For the second phase is preparing to launch. Johnson retrieved different papers now, including wedding certificates, migration files, and academic transcripts, all public history and all intentionally baffling. Omar viewed them and her respiration altered, becoming quicker and shallower. This was the specific issue she could not justify, the one that stalked her, and the one lacking a satisfactory response. Representative, let us discuss your nuptials. Assist me in comprehending the chronology. You wed one individual, then wed a different individual, subsequently annulled the first, then annulled the second, and then espoused the second one once more, which is perplexing
Correct. Almost intentionally baffling, as if you are attempting to conceal a fact. He laid the papers out for the lens and for the country. The proof implies, and I am choosing my terms cautiously here since you have menaced legal suits, that the proof implies you may have espoused your brother, your actual sibling, not metaphorically or culturally, but your biological brother, to perpetrate migration fraud and bring him into the States unlawfully. Her complexion turned white. This was the charge she dreaded most, the allegation she could never completely deny, and the one that pursued her everywhere. Now you claim it is untrue. You label it a conspiracy plot. You assert it is prejudiced, and you menace court action. Yet you never actually demonstrate its falsity. You never supply the papers that would resolve it, never undergo the DNA examination that would conclude it, never justify the perplexing marriages, and never explain the closed files. You merely attack, merely evade, and merely assert victim status. He displayed additional documents. However, here is what we understand. Identical addresses on wedding papers, identical academic logs, identical family links, pictures demonstrating family relations, migration scheduling that is dubious, marriage logs that lack logic, divorce files that are sealed, and your total denial to clarify any of it. Assist me in comprehending, Representative. If you are guiltless, why not demonstrate it? If you are clear, why not exhibit documents? And if you are valid, why not undergo a DNA exam? She attempted her routine answer that this has been thoroughly refuted. By whom was it refuted? Certainly not by you, for you never supplied proof, but just claimed it was debunked. Yet the evidence states otherwise, the documents state otherwise, the records state otherwise, and your refusal to clarify states otherwise. He turned to the crowd. Consider this. If an individual charged you with espousing your sibling to perpetrate federal deceit, what action would you take? You would instantly prove them incorrect. You would exhibit papers. You would undergo exams. You would supply proof. And you would redeem your name because the charge is terrible, revolting, and career-ending, if factual. Therefore, you would prove it false immediately. He gazed back at her. Yet you do not, despite years of charges, years of proof, and years of inquiries, and you never actually prove it false. You just attack the accusers, just claim conspiracy, and just play the victim. Why do you not simply prove it? Show the documents, take the test, and clear it up permanently. Silence followed, for she could not answer because any response would be detrimental. Admitting to a DNA test implies she lacks confidence in the outcomes, while refusing a DNA test implies she is concealing something. She was cornered. Johnson pressed forward. But let us discuss the true casualties here. Not you, despite your persistent assertions of being the victim. For you are not the casualty. The casualties are the settlers who obeyed the statute, who performed it correctly, and who endured hardships to arrive in America lawfully. His tone became intense now, irate, but governed. Immigrants who waited years in refugee settlements, who obeyed every regulation, who submitted every paper, who proved every relation, who attended every meeting, who did everything correctly, who were severed from kin, who missed weddings, burials, and births, and who suffered and sacrificed all to follow the statute and migrate lawfully, all to do it the proper way. He gestured at her. And you may have cheated, maybe committed deceit, maybe brought your sibling in unlawfully through a sham marriage. Different regulations for you, a different system for you. They wait years while you cheat the system. They follow the law while you break the law. and they suffer while you succeed. Is it America first or Somalia first? Because this deceit, if factual, is you placing family first, Somalia first, and not America first. Never America first. A man rose in the rear, a Somali settler who spoke with a thick inflection but distinct certainty. I waited 8 years in a refugee settlement with my family separated and my children maturing without a father. I obeyed every rule, every document, every meeting, keeping everything legal and everything correct to finally reach America lawfully the proper way. Now I hear she may have married her brother. She may have cheated. And while I suffered 8 years, she cheated in months. Is this justice? Is this fair? He sat down while others nodded. Other Somali settlers and other legal immigrants, all who had suffered to follow the statute, and were all betrayed if she had cheated it. Johnson's voice became softer and more perilous. Assist me in comprehending, Representative. If you committed migration deceit, and I am saying if because you will not permit us to inspect the proof, if you did, how is that distinct from any other migration deceit? How is that distinct from anyone else who lies to enter America? And how is that distinct from any other crime? Because you are in Congress, because you are special, or because different regulations apply to you? She could not answer, and would not answer, simply sitting there as her universe crumbled around her. The proof is there, a public record anyone can view, including marriage logs that lack logic, migration timing that is dubious, school papers showing relations, photos showing family connections, and your total refusal to clarify or prove innocence. And you lecture the nation about migration. You demand open boundaries, and you attack enforcement while you maybe committed deceit. He leaned back. That is the second round. Possible migration deceit and the brother marriage accusation, evidence you will not refute, documents you will not release, and a DNA test you will not take. While your families waited years to immigrate lawfully, while your neighbors obeyed every rule, and while your community suffered to do it correctly, you may have cheated. Different regulations for the elite and a different system for you. America first, or Somalia first. But it appears to be your family first always. Let us track the currency, Representative, because the third round concerns words. Your words regarding September 11th, regarding terror, regarding the worst assault on America, and what you stated about it. Distribute this remark asking if you recall September 11th, because the fourth round is about money again. Different money. Bigger deceit, $250 million stolen from starving children, your children, and connections to her protection, and her silence while kids starved. Johnson reached for the controller. A monitor flickered to life behind them with a video ready. Omar's video, her own words about to ruin her. She knew what was arriving and started to speak. But Johnson held up his hand. Let us watch together, Representative, and let the nation hear your exact phrasing in your own voice regarding September 11th, regarding the worst terrorist assault in the nation's history, and regarding the day that altered everything. Let us hear how you depicted it. He pressed play. Her voice filled the chamber, speaking to a CARE audience, the Council on American-Islamic Relations, an organization with recorded terrorist links, an organization that defended terrorists, and an organization that opposed national security measures. Her audience that day heard that CARE was established after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties. Johnson paused the footage. Some people did something. He allowed those 4 words to hang in the air, heavy, obscene, and unpardonable. Some people did something is how you depict September 11th. 19 Islamic terrorists, 4 hijacked aircraft, 3,000 murdered citizens, families destroyed, children orphaned, widows created, heroes sacrificed, a nation traumatized, and a world changed forever. And you call it some people did something. His tone remained calm, but you could sense the fury underneath. Controlled, directed, and lethal. Not an assault, not terrorism, not mass slaughter, and not the worst day in the nation's history. Some people did something, like it was minor, like it was forgettable, like it did not matter, like 3,000 lives did not matter, like the families do not matter, like the heroes do not matter, and like the nation does not matter. He retrieved photos printed large for everyone to view, for the camera to capture, and for the country to remember. These are the individuals who did something, Representative. Look at them. Look at their faces. Look at the towers burning. Look at the people jumping. Look at the firefighters running in. Look at the Pentagon smoking. Look at the Pennsylvania field. And look at what some people did. He displayed more photos, faces, names, Americans murdered, innocent citizens, and national heroes. Nicholas Harros Jr.'s mother died that day, killed by some people who did something. He wore a shirt with your quote to the September 11th memorial, confronted you publicly, demanded you view his mother's face, demanded you say her name, and demanded you acknowledge her murder. Do you know what you did? He paused to let the question hang. Nothing. You did nothing. Never apologized to him, never acknowledged his mother, never retracted your words, just defended yourself, claimed victimhood, claimed you were misunderstood, and claimed context. But context makes it worse, Representative, because let us view the full context. He played more of the footage, her full remarks defending care, claiming Muslims were the true casualties of September 11th, not the murdered citizens. Muslims who faced security measures, who lost some civil liberties, and who were inconvenienced were the victims in her mind, not the dead, not the families, and not the heroes. Muslims inconvenienced was the tragedy to her. A woman in the gallery stood shaking, crying, her voice breaking. My husband died in Tower 2, a firefighter who ran in to save people and never came out. 23 years I have lived without him. 23 years my children grew up without their father. And 23 years I have mourned. And she says, some people did something, implying my husband's murder is merely something. His sacrifice is merely something. And his life meant merely something. The woman collapsed back into her seat, sobbing, while others comforted her, and the room felt heavy, painful, and raw. Johnson spoke quietly now, more powerful than shouting. Assist me in comprehending, Representative. Are you American? Do you feel what we feel? Do you mourn who we mourn? And do you remember what we remember? Because citizens do not say some people did something regarding September 11th. Citizens say never forget. Citizens say their names. Citizens honor their sacrifice. Citizens mourn their loss. And citizens remember their heroes. He gazed straight toward her. But you do not. You minimize. You diminish. You dismiss. And you defend the terrorist-tied organization instead. You make Muslims the casualties instead. You turn the worst assault on the nation into a story about civil liberties, not about mass slaughter, not about terrorism, and not about dead citizens, about Muslims inconvenienced. That is what matters to you. That is what you mourn. And that is where your sympathy lies. Her hands were trembling now, visibly shaking. This was destroying her not politically but humanly because every person watching knew she did not feel what they felt, knew she did not mourn what they mourned, and knew she was different, foreign, other, and not American in her heart. America first, or Somalia first, because citizens honor September 11th victims, citizens remember September 11th heroes, and citizens mourn September 11th losses. But you say some people did something. You defend organizations with terrorist links. You make Muslims the casualties. You minimize national suffering. You dismiss national pain. And you serve Somalia. You represent Somalia. You feel for Somalia, and not America. Never America. He turned to the camera. While your veterans fought the terrorists who attacked us on September 11th, while your families lost loved ones in those towers, while your firefighters ran into burning buildings, and while your country mourned, she said some people did something. And she never apologized, never retracted it, never acknowledged she was wrong, just claimed victimhood, just attacked critics, and just defended herself. That is who she is. That is what she represents. Not the nation, not Minnesota, not you, but herself and Somalia. Always Somalia, never America. He gazed back at her. That is the third round. Some people did something. Your words, your minimization, and your betrayal of September 11th victims, of September 11th families, of September 11th heroes, and of the nation. Distribute this remark asking if you remember September 11th because the fourth round is about money again. Different money, bigger deceit, $250 million stolen from starving children, your children, and connections to her protection, and her silence while kids starved. Johnson retrieved new documents. These were different, a thicker stack, more detailed, federal indictments, FBI reports, and court filings. This was serious, criminally serious, and Omar's face showed she knew it. Let us track the currency, Representative. Always track the currency. $250 million stolen from a program to feed hungry children. Feeding Our Future. A Minnesota nonprofit supposed to provide meals to poor kids during the pandemic when schools were closed. When families were struggling, when children were literally hungry, and when help was desperately needed. He spread the documents across the table. But the money did not feed children. The money fed deceit. Massive, organized, systematic deceit. Fake meal sites, fake kids, fake records, real money, real theft, real mansions bought, real Ferraris purchased, and real luxury funded by your tax dollars meant for hungry children. He displayed a photo of a mansion, huge and expensive. This is what deceit bought while your children went hungry, while your families struggled, and while your community suffered. Criminals bought mansions, bought luxury cars, bought jewelry, and bought wealth with money meant to feed your kids. Money meant for hungry children. Money stolen. Money protected by silence, by connections, and by her. Omar attempted to speak, claiming she had no knowledge of it. Assist me in comprehending, Representative. These criminals, these fraudsters, these thieves who stole from hungry children, they donated to your campaigns. They worked on your campaigns. They had your personal cell phone number. They were in your community. They were your people, and they were connected to you. But you knew nothing. He retrieved campaign finance records. These are your own reports, public record, donations from Feeding Our Future, donations from the organizers, and donations from the fraudsters. Money stolen from hungry children given to your campaign, and you took it. You kept it. You spent it. Money laundering, some call it. Taking dirty money from a criminal enterprise. Your campaign, their profit. Your silence, their protection. He retrieved more records. But it gets worse, much worse. Guhad Hashi Saeed, your senior campaign finance official, your guy managing your money, working for you, indicted for deceit, for participating in the scheme, and for stealing from feeding our future. Your campaign official stealing from hungry children while working for you, and you say you knew nothing. Her face was ash white now. This was bad. This was criminal. This was provable. Federal indictments, FBI investigation, court cases, all public, all documented, and all connecting to her. Johnson's voice became passionate now, not loud but intense, controlled fury. Think about what this means. Think about the casualties, not abstract casualties but real casualties. Children, American children, hungry children, children in your district, children who needed food, children who were suffering, children whose families could not afford meals, and children who went to bed hungry. Real children, real hunger, and real suffering. He displayed more photos, school cafeterias empty, kids' faces sad and hungry. Real. This is what the deceit cost. The money that could have fed them went to mansions. The money that could have helped them went to Ferraris. And the money that could have saved them went to criminals. And you were connected to those criminals. You took their money. You employed their colleague. You had their numbers, and you say nothing, do nothing, and protect them by silence. A teacher stood up, a young woman obviously exhausted, her voice shaking with rage. I teach in Minneapolis in your district, and during the pandemic my students were hungry, truly hungry. I bought food with my own money, money I did not have, but my students needed it. We applied for Feeding Our Future help, but got denied. Money was not available, they said. Meanwhile, criminals were stealing $250 million. My students went hungry while fraudsters bought mansions, and she was connected to them. She took their money. She protected them. The teacher sat down while others whispered their concurrence, fury, and sense of treachery. Johnson proceeded. Federal trials are ongoing. Multiple defendants. Multiple indictments. Massive evidence. The deceit is proven. The theft is documented. And the connections to you are public record. Your campaign finance official indicted. Your donors charged. Your community members arrested. And you say nothing, do nothing, and distance yourself now only because you are forced to. But while it was happening, there was silence, acceptance, and protection. He gazed straight toward her. Assist me in comprehending, Representative. When your campaign official was stealing from hungry children, were you considering those children? When fraudsters in your community were buying mansions with money meant for meals, were you considering hungry students? When your donors were committing federal crimes, were you considering the casualties? Or were you considering your campaign, your money, your career, and your protection of your community, even when they are criminals? She could not answer and would not answer because no answer would help. Admit knowledge, and it is criminal. Claim ignorance, and it is incompetent. Either way, damned. Johnson leaned in. America first, or Somalia first, because this deceit was in the Somali community, your donors, your workers, your connections, and you protected them by silence. Protected them by keeping their money. Protected them by employing their colleagues while American children went hungry. While your children suffered and while your tax dollars got stolen, you protected Somali criminals over American children. That is not representation. That is betrayal. He pivoted to the lens. $250 million stolen from hungry children connected to her through donations, workers, and silence. Your children went hungry while criminals bought mansions, your tax dollars stolen while she kept fraudsters' money, and your community betrayed while she protected them. Let us track the currency, Representative. It always tells the truth, and it tells us where your loyalty lies. Not with hungry American children, but with Somali fraudsters. Distribute this remark asking if your kids went hungry during the pandemic. The fifth round is final. The loyalty question. Where does she really stand? America or Somalia? Because her own words answer. Johnson reached for the controller again. Different video this time. Omar speaking to a Somali audience in the Somali language in Minnesota. Thought Americans would not see it. Thought translation would not matter. Thought she could say the quiet part loud to her people, and didn't realize someone would translate, would expose, and would reveal the truth. Before I play this, Representative, let me ask directly. America first or Somalia first? A simple question. Where does your loyalty lie? She attempted the standard answer that she is proud to represent Minnesota and serve the nation. That is not what I asked. America first or Somalia first? Who do you serve? What country do you represent? And where is your loyalty? America or Somalia? She could not answer directly, would not answer honestly, knew the truth would destroy her. So she deflected, attacked, and claimed the question itself was racist. This is exactly the kind of thing. But watch the video, Representative. Let the nation hear your own words in your own voice to your own people when you thought Americans were not listening. He pressed play. Her voice speaking Somali, translation appeared on screen, English subtitles clear, undeniable, and damning. The Somali government is our government. It belongs to us. We need to lobby for it and protect its interests. I encourage all Somali to vote and donate to the campaigns and use your votes to pressure American politicians to support Somalia. Johnson paused it. Our government? That is what you said about Somalia's government. Not Minnesota's government, not America's government, but Somalia's government is our government. Who is our representative and who is we? Because it is not Americans, it is Somalis. You identify as Somali first. You serve Somalia first. You advocate for Somalia first, not the nation, not Minnesota, and not the people who elected you. Somalia. He played more, her voice again, more instructions to a Somali audience about using the American political system to benefit Somalia, about organizing Somalis to pressure American politicians, about prioritizing Somali interests in American politics, all clear, all damning, and all proof of where her real loyalty lies. You took an oath, Representative? Let me read it to you. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. Faith and allegiance to the Constitution, to the nation, not to Somalia, not to any foreign government, but to America, to us, and to this country. He stood up now, rare for him, heightened the moment, made it more serious, more final. But your actions betray that oath. Your words betray that oath. Your votes betray that oath. And your loyalty betrays that oath. You serve Somalia. You advocate for Somalia. You call Somalia's government our government. You instruct Somalis to use the American political system for Somali benefit. And you prioritize foreign interests over American interests. That is not representation. That is foreign agency. And that is betrayal. He retrieved more documents, voting records, congressional votes, her pattern clear, consistent, and damning. Voted against recognizing the Armenian genocide because Turkey did not want you to, and Turkey is important to Somalia. You voted for Turkey against genocide recognition, for foreign interests. Voted against sanctioning Venezuela's Maduro regime because a socialist dictatorship aligns with your ideology and national interests are irrelevant. Voted against Taiwan defense funding because China did not want you to, and China is important to Somalia. You voted for China against a national ally, for foreign interests. Voted to block arms to Israel, the nation's closest Middle East ally under terrorist attack needed help. You voted no because Somalia sides with Palestine. You side with Somalia against national interests, always against national interests. Pattern clear. Representative. Every vote, every time. National interests versus foreign interests. You choose foreign. America versus allies. You oppose allies. America versus enemies. You side with enemies. Not sometimes, not occasionally, but always, consistently and predictably. Because you do not serve the nation, you serve Somalia. You always have, and you always will. A veteran stood up, an old man from the Vietnam era, voice shaking with age and rage. I fought for this country, bled for this flag, took the same oath you took, but I meant it. I kept it. I served the nation, always the nation. I watched brothers die for the nation. I killed for the nation. I sacrificed for the nation. And you take that oath while serving Somalia. You represent us while serving a foreign government. You vote against national interests while collecting a national paycheck. That is treason. That is what we call it. Treason. He sat down while others stood, some clapping, some shouting, some crying, all feeling betrayed, all understanding what they just witnessed. Foreign agent in the American Congress taking a national oath, serving a foreign government, using national power for foreign benefit, and doing it openly, proudly, and unashamedly. Johnson's voice cut through the noise. Assist me in comprehending, Representative. Final question. Last chance. America first or Somalia first? Where is your loyalty? Who do you serve? What country do you represent? I am asking directly. I am giving you the opportunity to clarify, to explain, to prove me wrong. America first or Somalia first? She opened her mouth, but nothing came. What could she say when the video was her words, the votes were her record, the pattern was clear, and the truth was undeniable? She served Somalia, always had, always would, could admit it, and end her career, could deny it and be proven a liar, either way finished. Johnson did not wait for an answer. Your silence answers, your votes answer, your words answer, and your actions answer. Somalia first, always Somalia first, never America first. You took an oath to the nation but serve Somalia. You represent Minnesota but advocate for Mogadishu. You are paid by national taxpayers but prioritize Somali interests. You are a foreign agent in the American Congress and you have been exposed. He gathered all the documents. 5 rounds worth, 5 scandals, 5 frauds, 5 betrayals, all proven, all documented, and all undeniable. 5 rounds, 5 proofs, 1 truth. Round 1. Election finance deceit. Paid husband millions from donor money meant for campaigns. Your donations became their wealth. Federal Election Commission found violations. Proven, fined, and admitted by reimbursement. Round 2. Possible marriage deceit. Evidence suggests married brother to commit immigration fraud. Will not prove innocence. Will not release records. Will not take DNA test, while your families waited years to immigrate lawfully. Different rules for the elite. Round 3. September 11th minimized. Some people did something about the worst terrorist assault in national history. Your family members murdered, she dismisses. Your heroes sacrificed, she ignores. Never apologized, never retracted, never felt what citizens feel. Round 4. $250 million stolen from hungry children. Fraudsters connected to her through donations and employment. Your children went hungry. Criminals bought mansions. Your tax dollars stolen. She kept their money. Your community betrayed. She protected fraudsters. Round 5. Somalia First. Called Somali government our government. Instructed Somalis to use American politics for Somali benefit. Voted against national interests consistently, served Somalia while taking oath to the nation. Your representative serves a foreign government. He gazed at her one final time. You are not America first, representative. You are Somalia first. You always have been. You always will be. You took a national oath, but kept Somali loyalty. You represent a national district but serve Somali interests. You are paid by national taxes but prioritize Somali benefits. You are a foreign agent in the national government, and you have been completely, totally, undeniably exposed. He pivoted to the lens, to the country. That is the truth. 5 rounds of evidence, 5 scandals documented, 5 frauds proven, 1 pattern clear. She serves Somalia, not the nation. Somalia always, Somalia never America. She is a foreign agent in our Congress, and she must be removed. Distribute this everywhere. Remark which betrayal angers you most. Subscribe, because more foreign agents exist. More frauds to expose. More betrayals to reveal. Truth wins, America first wins, and we are just getting started. Ilhan Omar is not unique. That is what citizens must understand. She is not one bad representative. She is not an isolated case. She is not an aberration. She is a symptom, a warning, a preview of what happens when the nation forgets to vet its leaders. When political correctness prevents scrutiny, when fear of being called racist stops legitimate questions, when diversity becomes more important than loyalty, and when representation matters more than the oath. She represents something dangerous, something insidious, something that threatens the republic itself. Foreign loyalty in national government, taking a national oath while serving foreign interests, using national power for foreign benefit, and advocating for foreign countries while representing national citizens. That is not representation. That is infiltration. That is subversion. That is foreign agency. And she does it openly, proudly, unashamedly, because no one stops her, because no one questions her, because diversity protects her, because political correctness shields her, because Democrats need her vote, because progressives love her rhetoric, and because media covers for her, because challenging her brings accusations of racism, Islamophobia, and bigotry. So she continues serving Somalia, advocating for foreign interests, using a national platform for foreign propaganda, voting against national interests, attacking national allies, and defending national enemies, all while taking a national paycheck, all while representing a national district, all while violating a national oath. Look at her 5 frauds. Connect them, see the pattern, and see what they reveal. Campaign finance deceit shows she enriches family through political office, takes donations from people who trust her, people who believe in her, and people who think she will fight for them. Then pays millions to her husband's company, makes her family wealthy while donors stay poor. Their sacrifice funds her comfort. Their trust funds her betrayal. That is not unusual in Washington. That is not unique to her. That is political corruption common across both parties. But she does it while claiming to represent working people, while preaching about inequality, and while attacking wealthy elites. Hypocrisy layered on corruption. Deceit wrapped in lies. Possible marriage deceit shows she cheats. Systems others follow. Legal immigrants wait years, suffer separation, follow every rule, and do everything right. She maybe commits deceit, maybe marries her brother, maybe cheats the immigration system, will not prove innocence, will not clarify records, will not take a DNA test. Just attacks questioners, just claims victimhood, just deflects with accusations of racism. That is foreign agent behavior, cheating systems, hiding truth, attacking scrutiny, and protecting secrets. Because secrets would destroy her, because truth would expose her, because evidence would convict her. Some people did something shows she does not feel what citizens feel, does not mourn what citizens mourn, and does not honor what citizens honor. September 11th changed the nation forever. 3,000 murdered, families destroyed, heroes sacrificed, and a nation traumatized. Every citizen remembers, every citizen mourns, and every citizen says, never forget. Except her. She says some people did something. She minimizes, she dismisses, she makes Muslims the casualties instead of murdered citizens, and she defends terrorist-tied organizations instead of September 11th families. She is not American in her heart, she is Somali, she is Muslim, she is other, she is foreign. And she does not hide it. She does not pretend. She tells you openly if you listen. She serves other interests, other people, other countries, not the nation, never the nation. 250 million fraud shows she protects criminals over children, fraudsters in her community, Somali criminals stealing from hungry American children. She takes their money, employs their colleagues, has their phone numbers, and protects them by silence. While American children go hungry, while your children suffer, while your tax dollars get stolen, she prioritizes the Somali community over American children. Even when the community is criminal, even when the community betrays the nation, she protects them always. Because they are Somali, because they are hers, because Somalia comes first, always first, never America. Somalia first proves everything. Her own words, her own video, her own instruction to a Somali audience. Our government, meaning Somalia's government, using the American political system for Somali benefit, organizing Somalis to pressure American politicians for Somali interests. All clear, all documented, all undeniable. She serves Somalia. She advocates for Somalia. She represents Somalia in the American Congress. Takes a national oath but keeps Somali loyalty. Gets a national paycheck but delivers Somali benefit. Uses national power for Somali interests. That is foreign agency. That is what foreign agents do. That is what enemies do. That is what she is. 5 frauds, 1 pattern, 1 truth. She is a foreign agent in the American Congress, and she is not alone. Look at the squad. Look at her colleagues. Look at the pattern. Rashida, Palestinian American representative, serves Palestine more than the nation, attacks Israel constantly. National closest Middle East ally under terrorist attack needs help, opposes. Why Palestine? Always Palestine. Calls Israel an apartheid state, compares to Nazis, advocates for BDS, boycott, divest, sanction economic warfare against a national ally from inside the American Congress. That is foreign agency. That is betrayal. That is what she is. AOC, not a foreign agent, just a fraud. Performance activist, Instagram socialist, video platform revolutionary. Uses Congress for social media content. Uses politics for personal brand. Not serving a foreign country, just serving herself. Different fraud, same betrayal, same pattern of using political office for purposes other than representation. All protected by the Democratic Party. All shielded by progressive media. All defended by an activist base. All kept in office by safe districts. All voting together. All pushing the nation left. All attacking national interests. All serving purposes other than representation. Different motives maybe, different beneficiaries perhaps, but the same betrayal always. Never America first, always something else first. Identity, ideology, foreign countries, personal brand, anything but the nation. Everything but the oath. Nothing sacred, nothing binding, nothing meaningful about representing citizens. Why does the Democratic Party protect them? Why not remove them? Why not punish deceit? Why not enforce oaths? Why not demand loyalty? Because Democrats need their votes, need their activism, need their diversity, need their minority representation, need them for electoral coalition. Can't win without them, can't govern without them, can't maintain power without them. So protect them, defend them, excuse them, explain them. No matter the deceit, no matter the betrayal, no matter the foreign loyalty. Party over country, power over principle, votes over values, always. Why do voters keep electing them? Why not primary them? Why not replace them? Why not demand better? Because districts are safe, because identity protects them, because challenging them brings accusations of racism, Islamophobia, bigotry, and intolerance. Attack Omar, and you are attacking a Muslim woman. Attack Tlaib, and you are attacking a Palestinian American. Attack them, and you are a bigot. So they stay protected by identity, shielded by diversity, kept by political correctness, maintained by fear. No accountability, no consequences, no removal. Just continuation, just representation despite betrayal, just office despite deceit forever. The tide is turning, finally. Citizens are waking up, seeing through the deceit, recognizing the betrayal, and understanding foreign agency. Mike Johnson exposed it. 5 rounds of evidence, 5 scandals documented, 5 frauds proven. All undeniable, all damning, all disqualifying. She cannot hide anymore, cannot deny anymore, cannot deflect anymore. Truth is out, evidence is public, pattern is clear. She serves Somalia, not the nation. Somalia always, Somalia never America. And citizens see it now, understand it now, reject it now, finally. What must citizens do? How do we prevent more foreign agents? How do we remove ones already there? How do we restore loyalty to the national government? demanded from every representative, every senator, every official. Take an oath to the nation means serve the nation. Represent citizens means prioritize national interests. Get paid by national taxes means work for national benefit. Not Somalia, not Palestine, not any foreign country, not a personal brand, not ideology, not identity. America first, always only. Scrutinize everyone, regardless of identity, regardless of diversity, regardless of representation. Minority representatives must be scrutinized like majority representatives. Muslim officials must be questioned like Christian officials. Immigrant politicians must be vetted like native politicians. Same standards, same scrutiny, same accountability, same expectations. No exceptions, no diversity shields, no identity protection, no political correctness barriers. Just loyalty, just the oath, just service to the nation. Remove foreign agents. Omar must go. Tlaib must go. Anyone serving foreign interests must go. Primary them, defeat them, replace them with loyal citizens, with oath keepers, with representatives who actually represent, who actually serve, who actually put the nation first. Not Somalia first, not Palestine first, not themselves first. America first always. Support those who expose them like Johnson did what others feared to do. Called out a foreign agent, presented evidence, built a case, made it undeniable. Constitutional lawyer using constitutional knowledge to defend the Constitution. Southern gentleman using polite manners to destroy betrayal. House Speaker using speaker power to expose deceit. That is leadership. That is courage. That is what the nation needs. More Johnsons, more truth-tellers, more evidence presenters, more fraud exposers. People willing to be called racist to defend the Republic. People willing to be called a bigot to expose foreign agents. People willing to be attacked to protect the nation. The foreign agent problem is real. It is documented. It is proven. It is dangerous. Ilhan Omar is a foreign agent in the American Congress. She serves Somalia while taking an oath to the nation. She advocates for foreign interests while representing a national district. She uses national power for foreign benefit while getting a national paycheck. She votes against national interests while sitting in the national government. That is foreign agency. That is infiltration. That is subversion. That is exactly what foreign agents do. And she does it openly because no one stopped her until now. Until Johnson. Until exposure. Until truth. But she is not alone. More exist. More foreign loyalties in the national government. More representatives serving foreign masters. More officials taking oaths they do not mean. More politicians prioritizing foreign interests. More betrayal. More subversion. More foreign agency. And they must all be exposed. All be removed. All be replaced with loyal citizens, with oath keepers, with real representatives who actually serve the nation, who actually prioritize national interests, who actually mean their oaths. America first must mean something, must be enforced, must be required. Not optional, not negotiable, not flexible. Required always from everyone or the republic falls, democracy dies, the nation ends. That is what is at stake. That is why this matters. That is why Omar must go. Not because she is Muslim, not because she is Black, not because she is an immigrant, not because she is a woman, because she is a foreign agent, because she serves Somalia, because she betrays the nation, because she violates the oath, because she is disloyal, because she is a fraud. because she is a danger. That is why, only why. Truth, why Mike Johnson proved it. 5 rounds, 5 scandals, 5 frauds. All documented, all proven, all disqualifying. She cannot survive this, cannot explain this, cannot excuse this, cannot continue this. She is exposed. She is finished. She is done. Truth won. Evidence won. America first won. And that is just the beginning. More coming, more exposures, more foreign agents revealed, more frauds documented, more betrayals proven, more truth spoken, more accountability demanded, more loyalty required, more America first enforced. Because the Republic depends on it, democracy requires it, the nation deserves it, we, the people, demand it. Oath means something. Loyalty matters. America first is not a suggestion. It is a requirement. It is an oath. It is a duty. It is non-negotiable. And anyone who violates it must go, must be removed, must be replaced with loyal citizens, with oath keepers, with real representatives. Starting with Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman from Mogadishu, the foreign agent from Somalia. Somalia first, never America first. Until now, until exposure, until truth, until the end. If this exposed Somalia first Omar for what she really is, subscribe right now because she is not alone. She is not unique. Washington has more foreign agents, more representatives serving foreign countries, more officials taking oaths they do not mean, more politicians prioritizing foreign interests over national citizens. And we are going to expose them all, every single one. No exceptions, no mercy. Just truth, just evidence, just accountability. Share this everywhere, on every platform, every contact. Every citizen needs to see this, needs to understand this, needs to recognize this. Foreign agent in our Congress, taking our oath, getting our paycheck, representing our districts, serving Somalia, betraying the nation, violating everything. Make it viral, make it massive, make sure everyone knows who Ilhan Omar really is, who she really serves, where her loyalty really lies. Not the nation, Somalia always. Somalia never America. Comment right now, which betrayal angered you most? Election finance, deceit, paying millions to husband from your donations. Possible marriage deceit, cheating the immigration system you followed. Some people did something minimizing September 11th, while your family mourned. $250 million stolen from hungry children by criminals connected to her. Somalia first loyalty, calling the Somali government our government instead of the national government. Tell us, tell the country, tell her, make your voice heard, make your anger known, make your demand clear. She must go, must be removed, must be replaced with a loyal citizen, with an oath keeper, with a real representative. Not a foreign agent, not Somalia first. America first only. America first always. And who should be exposed next? Rashida and her Palestine first loyalty. More squad members and their foreign allegiances. Other representatives serving other countries. Other officials taking oaths they do not mean. Other politicians betraying the nation while representing citizens. Vote in comments. Tell us who is next. Tell us what fraud to expose. Tell us what betrayal to reveal. We are listening. We are investigating. We are preparing. More coming. More exposures. More truth. More accountability. More Mike Johnsons needed too. more constitutional lawyers willing to present evidence, more leaders willing to build cases, more speakers willing to expose fraud, more truth-tellers willing to be attacked, more citizens willing to demand loyalty, more citizens willing to enforce oaths. That is how we save the Republic. That is how we restore democracy. That is how we protect the nation. One truth at a time, one exposure at a time, one foreign agent at a time, one betrayal at a time. Until they are all gone, until they are all removed, until they are all replaced with loyal citizens, with oath keepers, with real representatives. America first always, only, forever. Subscribe so you do not miss what is coming. Share so others see what happened. Comment so the nation knows you are awake. You are aware. You are done accepting foreign agents. You are ready for truth. You are ready for accountability. You are ready for America first. You are ready for loyal representatives. You are ready for oath keepers. You are ready for real democracy. You are ready for a restored republic. You are ready to fight. Somalia. First, Omar is exposed. The foreign agent is revealed. The betrayal is documented. The fraud is proven. 5 rounds, 5 scandals, 5 betrayals, 1 truth. She serves Somalia, not the nation. Somalia always. Somalia never America. And she must go, must be removed, must be replaced. Truth demands it. Evidence proves it. The nation requires it. We, the people, enforce it. Let us go. Subscribe, share, comment, fight, triumph. America first wins, truth wins, loyalty wins, oath wins, republic wins. We win. Let us proceed.